Welcome back to Pixie Heart Club, where dreams, magic, and heartwarming conversations come to life. I'm your co-host, Troy Nicole.
And I'm Brittany. Welcome to episode 7's conversation.
That sounds so depressing because that means we only have one more episode
I
left.
know. Not only am I sad about only having one episode left, I'm also sad about only having 34 minutes minus the recap and the
The
credits
preview,
and
in
preview
credits.
to discuss. Like, Disney, we gotta talk. We gotta talk.
Listen, Disney, when they create TV shows, I feel like Disney creates TV shows as if they're creating them for Disney Channel. Like Disney Channel,
Um,
like well, I don't know how Disney Channel works anymore, but back when we were kids, huh?
I said back in the day is what we're
Yeah,
talking about, I
like
assume.
back when we were kids, Disney Channel would be like, "Oh, the episode's 30 minutes. If you add 4 commercials that are each 2 minutes long, so the episode is actually plus the theme song and the end credits. So the
Oh yeah,
episode,
no, don't forget the theme song, and then don't forget the little the little recap thing that happens like
yep,
in the beginning of the
the
thing. Yeah.
recap was, and then like if it was like one of the shows that had transitions where
Oh,
like like this, We Laugh at Zach and Cody would just show you a fake hotel for like 30 seconds.
right. Oh my god.
So
No, because I don't get it. I
our
don't get it.
TV shows back in the day were actually like 20 minutes, if that.
I don't even think they were fully 20. I think they were like a good 15 minutes.
Yeah, like
Like,
that is what I feel like
yeah.
Disney does to their TV series on streaming services. Like sometimes they'll either be ridiculously unnecessarily long, or they'll be a level of short where I'm just like, okay, well, can we take out the end credits? Like
I
Percy
feel like
Jackson
there
and
should
credits are
be a
really pretty and
rule.
all, but I'm just like, can
There
we
should be
like
a
go
rule.
back to the black screen with white lettering that just scrolls up if
There
it's
should
gonna
be
take
a
that long?
rule because this is crap. Because if we're gonna do 8 episode seasons, the episodes need to be an hour long. Because if
And
you
I
do
think
an hour long episode and then do a quick little recap in the beginning and then the little credits at the end, I won't be too mad because I'll get like 45 minutes worth
yeah,
of stuff.
but
But
I think that's been like the consensus of this episode is that everyone was kind of like, because it was so short, a lot of things did not feel like they were like really concluded, even though like, okay, we got the fleece, but it still didn't feel like a
it felt like
fully thorough,
snapshot.
yeah, like really quick successions of things that are happening on this episode. Strangely enough, I still really enjoyed the episode.
Same. Okay, that's
Like,
that's my other issue. I felt like at this point we should have had it. It's like this was better off being put as one super long finale
I can see
versus
that.
doing this because now I'm just kind of sitting here like, okay, we got everybody's storylines. We're converging on to like the final thing, but this would have worked very well for like the first 30 minutes of the finale, to be honest. So it's like when it like I knew when it was coming to an end because I was like, this is all so short. This car ride, they're not talking. They're not talking as a group. It's very obvious that they're like going to lead to something else. It's very obvious.
Mhm.
But I still very much enjoyed it. I have some major highlight moments in this episode.
I will
Um,
say that you and I talk about this a lot by ourselves off of the podcast, is that like
yes.
we feel like only season 1 and 2 could possibly be short episodes because it's like a lot of info dump. Like you're just learning about Percy Jackson, you're learning about his world, and you're learning about the characters. But then from Titan's Curse to Last Olympian, I don't see how they're gonna do that with 40 minutes or less.
I just
But we're gonna wait and see when that comes out. But all I'm gonna say is I'll give Sea of Monsters some grace because
it is
not as
funny.
much happens that it's really big.
My statement that I said to my friend was like the only reason that I'm not like super upset is because Sea of Monsters is the weakest book in terms
Mhm.
of action, in terms of a lot of different parts of the series. This
Yeah.
is the weakest book. So I can't really be like, "Oh my god." But also like there were some elements introduced in this episode that I'm like,
Yeah.
going off the script has not bothered me this entire series. But going off the script requires more answers, more
Mhm.
things. So to introduce and go off the script so heavy in the
Mhm.
last 3 episodes before the finale, like, what are we thinking here? Like, I don't know. So I guess we should just start talking about it because
Okay.
otherwise, like, we're gonna keep talking around it, and I just
So we start off the show. They're getting off the hippocampi, and they're trying to figure out what to do. They need to figure out how to get on to the. I almost said the bus onto the boat, onto the boat.
Andromeda.
And Clarice and Percy are on two totally different wavelengths. Clarice is very much a child of Aries and like, no, I need to continue this quest. And Percy is very much like Percy, and he's like, well, no, we can still do that, but we're saving Annabeth first. What do you
I
think?
can't be mad at, like, it's one of those, like, as I'm watching, I'm like, because Clarice was like, you literally already almost ruined this already. Like, we would have been done, but you ruined it. Like, I can't be mad at, like, I know some people were like, I can't stand Clarice. Like, she gets on my nerves. And I was like, in a way, she's kind of supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're like fully on Percy's side. She's supposed to annoy you. But it's hard for me to be like, she's wrong. This was
Because
not wrong.
because also like I just feel like they're both in retrospect correct. Like
Yes.
Clarice is only there to finish this quest. She's not
Yes.
doing anything else. But even surpassing the quest, like she said when they were in the cave, this is bigger than anybody that is currently on this
Yes.
island. This is bigger than me and you and Annabeth would want you to get the fleece. She would not want you to sacrifice camp to, and she's correct. Like,
She's
of course,
not wrong. She
Annabeth
was
is
not
happy to
wrong.
be alive, but Annabeth would absolutely rather, if it came down to it and there was no way to save her,
Yeah,
then
I was
to, you
I
know,
I think I was like, I'm not gonna, obviously we know like Percy's extreme loyalty
mhm.
is still showing very heavily right now. Um, but if we're gonna say who's more of a strategist, especially in this particular moment, it's Clarice.
Yeah.
Like if Annabeth is not there, it defaults to the daughter of Aries, like Athena and then Aries. That it's like, but obviously Percy is still thinking of his emotions. I actually don't blame Clarice for what she did.
But yeah, Clarice absolutely had every right to be like, no, we have this one key card. I thought it was hilarious that they ended up using Tyson to grab a son of Athena
I
of Aphrodite.
of Aphrodite, yeah.
And he's just sitting there all smug, like, oh, okay.
No, the son of Aphrodite, like his little weird laugh and stuff. I said, okay, this is getting a little creepy. Like I
He
know he
was
was trying to charm speak them, but like,
he was so unfazed by that whole
yeah,
ordeal.
he
It was
was just
really
like
cute.
in the chair, just ha 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 ha, sir,
Yeah.
sir.
Like he was actually low-key enjoying himself.
He
Like
was
even when he thought it was Allison talking to him, he was still
he
smiling and
the
like
big
acting
goofy
like,
grin on his face when he thought it was Allison talking to him. I said, there's a lot to unpack here, but we're
yeah,
not going to touch that.
whatever. Um, but yeah, but before they end up really getting the key card and everything, we have to jump to Luke and Annabeth because there's a scene before that happens where Luke goes and sees Annabeth and the fleece has
No,
been
that
taken off.
wasn't. They it
Allison
wasn't
takes the
Luke that
fleece.
went, it wasn't Luke that went to go see her. It was old girl that went in the room and just ripped the fleece
I
off of
know
her.
because I'm saying the fleece was off of her by that point. When Luke
No.
went to go see her, there was no fleece.
Oh yeah, but Luke went to go see her after Percy had already found her. Like you're jumping, you jumped. Percy found her first, and then
Oh, you're
remember,
right. Okay, Percy found her
yeah,
first.
because the scene that you're talking about is old girl came in on her little agenda and just
I
ripped the
actually listen. I
can't
told
stand her.
myself that I was gonna be okay with them adding characters, but I changed my
No,
mind.
I
Pick
don't.
your
Okay,
favorite show.
I don't. I was like, you're such an unnecessary antagonist in this
Like,
story.
I'm like, do
And
you do something of importance at some point?
you know what my theory is? And I can
Hmm.
just say this. My theory is by book 4, she's going to think that she's a better person to lead them for Kronos than
Oh,
Luke.
then Luke.
And then Luke going to have to put her down. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh,
It's so obvious that she's a throwaway character,
if she
but
survives this season,
yeah, if she survives this season, she's such a throwaway character. And her disdain for Annabeth
it's.
is
I'm just like, do you have it for
weird.
Luke? You're like an adult. Do you have it for Luke or something? Like,
Yeah,
why
I
is
was
she
like,
so
Annabeth
aggressive?
was like, what? She was like 7 or 8 when you left camp? Why you
Keep
got
in
so much
mind,
beef with
Allison's
Annabeth?
a grown woman.
A grown woman. Why do you have so much beef with this child?
Like, I'm like, and to the point where she doesn't even have this much beef with Percy.
She doesn't. It's smoke for like when she was like, "Why are we using this to help the enemy?" And Luke's like, "She's not the enemy." She's like, "Oh, well, you should be using like." First of all, when she start running the show,
I'm just like, of all, literally of all people to like add a character for, I understand it being Luke's army because I feel like that's the perfect place to kind of insert a nonsense character who doesn't really need to be there, would be in
yes,
Luke's army. But at the same time, she's so overly like to the point where everyone that I see talk about her are just like, okay, can someone shut her up?
yeah, I was like, we gotta tone this down a little bit. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about it's either I don't know if they meant for her to portray her like this or what, but something about this added on character, like she's almost too vicious compared to
Mm-hmm.
everybody else.
Yeah, and it, unless she's going to be an important character for the rest of the series, I just don't see the need for her to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if she's going to take on some important role in Cronus's army, then okay, that's one thing. But at the same time, I will say that the actress is doing an amazing job. If I'm supposed to hate this
Oh
character,
no,
she is
she's
doing
getting down.
phenomenal. Like,
She's
I
eating.
mean, she's eating this down. Like, because I
Yeah.
every time she comes on my screen, I'm like, oh my god.
Every time she showed up with her little snark face, I said, I kind of hate you.
And you know me,
I'm
you know I
starting to
can't
hate
stand
you.
Hermes. And every time Hermes comes up to on screen, I'm just like, oh my god. But at this point, I like Hermes and most of the gods more than I like Allison.
Yeah, Allison, I don't know. I do not know her fate. I already guess that's my guess what her fate is.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I would love it if there was some type of showdown between her and I'm not Annabeth because Clarice whooped everybody's behind, including her, which was great. We'll touch on that
Yes,
soon. But I was
amazing.
like, I just want to understand her beef specifically with Annabeth because when
It
she ripped that
feels
cloak off old girl and just walked away like she had just like taken out the trash, and
and
then is she's the only one that can question Luke as well. Like nobody else is
mhm.
like questioning Luke when he does stuff, but she's always there to question him, and she's always there to question him about Annabeth. Always.
And I think that's what a lot of people are like thrown off by because like what is her goal when it like okay, if I can think about this logically, if her whole beef with the whole Annabeth thing is that she thinks that is where Luke's morality is staying, like where Luke is kind of faltering is the whole Annabeth thing, then
Right.
okay, I can understand that. But I think what's throwing people off is how much she's on our screen and how aggressive she's being. Because her taking the fleece off of Annabeth was kind of unnecessary because he was still going to put it on Cronus.
Yes.
Like he had no intentions of not doing that. So
Yes.
what was her beef with Annabeth being
That's what I'm
okay?
saying. I was like, the part that makes it a little over the top, in my opinion, is like she has a very specific
Mm-hmm.
beef against Annabeth. Because remember, she even told Luke, she threw me off the boat. She
Mm-hmm.
actually did not, in fact. Like you were about to slice. Oh girl, Percy knocked her out the way and you
Mm-hmm.
flipped yourself off the boat. Like, and
And you
also, why
survived.
wasn't Percy mentioned in this? If we're talking about enemies and like people that are bad, like why wasn't Percy mentioned? Like why was this acting like you and Annabeth 101?
Mm-hmm.
And
Because
also,
keep
if
in
you
mind,
101 a child and got ripped off the boat by a child, why are you comfortable saying
like, come on now. Like, keep in
that?
mind also that Percy is supposed to be the big bad that you guys are like either hoping helps you
Right.
or are going to have to kill. But you're focused on Annabeth. Again, I can understand it from a perspective of she thinks that maybe Luke will turn on them because of his connection with Annabeth.
I
But
can see that.
I just, I just don't see it
I
right
need it.
now.
I
Like
just need it
he,
toned down a little bit.
yeah,
It's
like
like a level 8 or 9. I need it back down to like a 4 or 5.
I'm like, girl, what Apollo do to you? Because you is
Right.
off your rocker.
Because everybody else has chill moments. Every scene she's in, she is so serious and
Mm-hmm.
so angry. And I'm like, you're angrier than everybody else here.
Which,
And we don't
okay,
even know your backstory.
I've always sort of wondered about demigods after Camp Half Blood, like after they age out and you know they're no
Hmm.
longer there. this is not really what I had in mind.
No.
Like, because I can understand, because it's like, look at Luke's anger. Luke is a very angry person.
Yes,
And
and we know
even
why.
he, and even though we know he's angry and that he has this really bad, like vengeful thing about him, we still have instances where he's not hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
But
I'm like,
Allison is always hooting and
Allison
hollering.
is always ready to go. And this is another thing, because I'm gonna compare her to Clarice. Like, Allison is angry and like always ready to fight.
Mhm.
Clarice is always ready to fight. But
Yeah.
like there's a different set between them, and like Allison always loses.
Allison just like, girl, you just keep getting your butt whooped. Like at the very
By
like,
children. By
like,
children.
and especially with Clarice. Clarice is like, as much as she can be a pain, and sometimes you're just like, girl, shut up.
Yes, because
It's
many
like,
times.
Eddie, girl, shut up. Because she's not a
Yes.
bad person. She's not like going to the other side. She knows her dad did wrong. So everyone knows that Ares is the god that decided to turn on Zeus. Uh,
Yes.
But she's still not with it. Like she still wants to make him proud and everything, but she's still like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like
Right.
that's not
It's
happening.
just it's so weird. It's like Allison has no like moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know. It's like every time Allison came on the screen, I was like, for this episode to be so short, she has had so much screen time. Like,
And you know what? It's
oh
fine
my.
if she's not gonna have a moral compass. I want to see less of her.
Yeah, again, I if she has a bigger role, fine, but maybe we could like build up her hatred
But
a
like,
little bit instead of just rah.
like my thing is, since y'all have officially turned Luke's humanity off,
Oh yeah.
why is she there?
I was like, okay, okay. So hold on, we'll go to the next one. So after Clarice snatches,
Well, we skipped Annabeth's vision.
okay, so Annabeth has the vision, which is nothing like the book. Obviously, we're
Right,
not.
because
Nothing about
Thalia,
this part. Nothing about this episode is in the books. Nothing about this episode.
Because Thalia coming back was a very big shock to everybody.
Yes. And I don't know how I feel that it's no longer going to be a shock to people like at camp. I'm not talking about like
Mhm.
viewer wise because most of us already know. But
Yeah.
I wonder what that's going to do
Like
to
Walker keeps
everything.
saying in all his interviews, the books came out 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm not going to be happy with it. It's just
Right.
using it as a plot point to make Luke question whether or not Annabeth was trying to play him. It's a very interesting choice. Um, because obviously this whole season has been trying to understand like the conflict between Luke, Annabeth, and Thalia. Like that
Mhm.
relationship has been the forefront of conflict for most of this season. So to see it to see it then be like we could bring her back, and I'm like,
And I
when
think,
when did the police start giving out prophecy?
and I think like, okay, because here's my thing. As far as the books go, when I originally read them for a billion years ago, my understanding was always that Cronus's reason for the fleece was, if we get the fleece, then I'm healed. Let's move on. But
Yes,
they get the fleece, they heal the tree, and there's possibly another demigod who could be the great
yes,
Pixie.
that's what I
So
thought. Because like,
that was my understanding of it. Now, with the TV show adding the layer where Annabeth sees a vision, like my question is that still Kronos? Is Kronos like
oh my
giving
god,
her
that's what I
the vision,
thought.
like just as a backup plan? Because he gave Percy the dream of Thalia shooting him with lightning.
And also, we know, and for some reason, unlike in the book, Luke didn't know this fact about bringing
Mhm.
Thalia back. And I'm like, she's close enough and was weak enough that Kronos could give her dreams. And she could interpret it as like a dream because, demigods have dreams all the time. She could easily be manipulated right now. And he knows Kronos has manipulated most of the demigods on his side from an emotional standpoint. So this could be the emotional standpoint to do that because
Mhm.
he saw we're not getting Percy on my, like, Percy is
Yeah.
not coming to my side. like at all. Like it's not happening. And
Which
we
is
need
one of my
another
highlights of this episode, but that's at the end. So,
oh
but
yeah.
yeah, so it's like when because like we said last week, we kind of knew that they were adding on that Annabeth
Mm-hmm.
was going to see a vision where the possibility that it could bring back Thalia. So
Yeah.
if it is Kronos who is giving her the vision and kind of like, you know what, if they do get the fleas back and I cannot be healed right now, at the very least, I'll have a demigod that seemingly might be
Yeah.
a better option than Percy.
Yes.
Which, is us kind of speaking ahead because we know what happens at the end. But
At this point, who doesn't know what happens at the
at this
end?
point, that's why I made the joke about Walker saying it's been out for 20 years. Like, the book has been out
Yeah.
forever. But I don't know how I feel about the vision. I just kind of feel like
I don't
I just feel like it was unnecessary. I
I
think
think
that's
I'm
the only thing.
holding I think I'm holding my reservation about if this choice to make it a vision was good or not. I'm waiting until after the finale to decide if it added any value
Now,
to
the
what's gonna
other
happen.
aspect I could see it being is that to kind of further break the dynamic between Luke and Annabeth, because we know Annabeth till the last Olympian is really like, we got it. I want to save him. Like the whole time she wants to save him.
She
Um,
does.
And so maybe it was used to kind of break that, because she already said in the first or second episode that watching Luke stab the tree was like watching her brother stab her sister. So
Yeah.
now she's giving him this information like, oh, like it could fix this. Like Thalia could come back, and him choosing to still not help them and then apparently invade camp
Yeah.
may, like, but you also have to think it also is going to add a lot of issues between the trio, because Grover is always the middleman where he's kind of like, okay guys, like, well, let's hear you out, let's hear
He's
you out.
still trying to
and,
be the middleman
and
even
he's
in this
still
episode.
trying.
Yes.
And meanwhile, Percy and Annabeth are kind of just like, no, like, this is how I feel, this is how I feel. So it can still add a layer of tension between Percy and Annabeth and Grover, because as we know in future books, Percy gets a little jealous about
Everyone.
Annabeth and her Annabeth and her trio, and then Grover's relationship with that original trio too. So, I mean, there's so many things that I guess this could do, especially for Annabeth's character. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna say I hate it. I just don't know if it was exactly
I'm
necessary.
just it's one of those changes where I was like, I don't know what value this gives.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think about it just from like the evolution of Luke, like the evolution that Luke
Mm-hmm.
is going to take throughout this series.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it doing something there, but
And
I
also,
just
it might just be that because we're book readers, that there's really nothing that they can do to make
yeah,
us like be like, oh, I'm so shocked Luke would do that. Like, no, I'm not shocked he would do that.
I think
With
I'm gonna
people,
say it's a character development add-on.
yeah, because with people who haven't read the books, they might be empathizing with him a little too much. Like, it's okay
Yes,
to empathize with Luke, but if you're empathizing with him to the point where you're kind of ignoring the fact that he's prepared to murder
all
a
his
bunch of
people,
people and
including his siblings.
eliminate the human race, then that's a problem. So that's what I'll say about the vision part.
Yeah. Plus, shout out to Charlie. You're giving us conflicted Luke
Oof,
right now, and I love you. Your
the
little
eye
facial
work he
expression.
does. Oh,
I said, sir, you better give us
you
confliction.
better act. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
So
now, I
this
think
is we're at hold on. I'm going through the
we're at
we're at Percy.
yeah. Percy ends up.
Listen,
Well, can we? One of my favorite scenes is Clarice listening to him, and she goes, "Oh, great!" Snatches the key card.
that's what I'm saying. I was like, again, I'm actually not mad at Clarice for doing this because he stupidly laid out
I
the plan. Like
love
he just
her.
for some reason he thought, yeah, definitely she's gonna totally listen to me after everything I just did. Let me tell her the plan.
That's why when Annabeth was like, "You're working together,"
Yeah. I
yo,
do want to say the part that cracked me up about, because we're gonna talk about Percy's part first, and then we'll talk about
Mhm.
Clarice's part second. So with Percy's part, when he's on deck, I'm like, sir, why not just use the hat
The
to hold?
cap. I
Like,
was like, why
why
are
are
you
we
out in the
sleuthing?
open?
Put the cap on. Like, I was like,
Oh, I
you were this close, Percy, this close.
also I love the choice to have Tyson and Grover stick together.
No, no, no. wait. We have to talk about. I wait. Screw. Love Percy. Pause. Grover and Tyson together with
That is
this
chaos.
Tyson is the best. Like they are so.
Duo I did not know I needed. I
They
love
were
them.
definitely the comedic relief for me in this
Yeah.
series, next to Percy, of course.
Yeah.
But it's him and Tyson figuring out how to hotbox a car, but neither one of them knowing how to drive. I was like, and then the
Oh,
immediate nod to first season where he's like, we can let Percy drive. No,
no.
no. Maybe we should call somebody wiser.
Oh, that is
I
hilarious.
said, I was like, you know what? This is another example of why I like the series a lot. The
Mhm.
TV series is highlighting how much Sally can provide
Yeah.
as just a thing. Sally is a pillar of the
Mhm.
series, in my opinion. And the fact that they've added some extra Sally elements into this, I actually really, really, really
I
like.
really, really like it. And one of my favorite Easter eggs about Sally is that bumper sticker. Did you see the bumper sticker? And
Yes. I was
everybody
like,
on threads were freaking out.
I said, you know what? Y'all gonna stop. I was like, the writers are trolling us. The writers are trolling us right
I
now.
was like, oh my god, are we getting Paul? Oh my god, okay. Anyway, we gotta go backwards. We gotta go backwards. Okay.
Backwards. Also, can we shout
Percy,
out Tyson calling her, knowing that this is an emergency? Did you get my letters?
he was about his business.
I said, you know what? In this moment, I know that you and Percy are brothers.
Yeah.
In this moment, I know that you and Percy are brothers because, sir.
We got
And
it.
then the
And
poor
Grover's
butcher. I'm literally the mother of a 13-year-old demigod. I know when there's something going on. And the
yeah,
butcher's
she
like,
was like, no. She was like,
I'm
I've
one
been
gear to a cyclops.
like, Grover, what is going on?
Yeah, when she busted out that door, I said, uh-huh. Sally's on a mission, babes. Sally's on a mission. I said,
The only
this
parent with rights.
this whole part, that whole extra add-on, loved. Loved
Loved it.
everything about it for multiple reasons. Because one, Tyson has done so well in the
Mm-hmm.
season, and the depiction of Tyson has been absolutely wonderful. Because yes, Tyson is young
Mm-hmm.
by giant standards, but like Tyson's not dumb. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad that he finally he's getting his redemption, unlike those stupid movies. Like I'm so glad they've given Tyson, like there's an innocence to Tyson, but like Tyson is that dude.
I'm gonna
Tyson
miss
has
him
been
next
that
season.
dude.
I'm gonna
So,
miss him next season
oh my
because he's
god,
so
I
good.
know.
But
Also, that might have been a spoiler to people, but let's.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Okay,
technically given like a billion spoilers so far, so I don't think it matters at this point.
that is true.
Um,
Okay, back to
but
biscuits.
so okay, Percy traps that one demigod
Yes,
into like the shed, and he sees Blackjack. So a lot of people have been talking about this, and they were talking about how you can't hear Blackjack, but Percy's answering him.
I
I
actually love
actually
it.
like it.
I
Like
think that's
I,
perfect.
because like we're watching as a third party right now, but
Yes,
reading the books, we were Percy. We were with Percy. So when
yes,
Blackjack would speak, we knew what he was saying because we're reading from Percy's perspective. But we're third parties now, so
I
I
love
like
it.
the idea that it's just like
Loved it.
Percy's
I
just
was
talking and answering to a horse.
I was genuinely concerned about who they were gonna voice. Like I was like, who's gonna be the
Mhm.
voice actor that voices Blackjack? Because if you read the books, you know that there's a little bit of humor to
Yeah,
Blackjack, but
he's
also
very
there's
hilarious.
like he's like basically a horse comedian at this point. The
Right.
way that he talks about things and other people
Mhm.
is great.
He was
So I
very
was like,
unseen.
oh God, who are they gonna voice for him? And then when it revealed that there was no voice, but him and the horse were talking, I said, does Percy look a little crazy? A little
Yeah,
bit.
a little
But I
bit.
kind of love it because
Hmm.
that's how he looks to everybody else when
Everybody
he's talking
else.
to horses.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like
So
most things that Poseidon's created, like no one else can understand them, but he can. So
yeah,
I really like that. I'm glad they did not give him a voice because I was worried that if they
I
gave
was
him
worried.
funny of
I
a
was
voice,
worried.
I would never take him seriously.
I
I
didn't
was
know if we were gonna
starting
CGI his mouth moving. Like there was so much that I was like, please don't.
and Percy's so funny because he was just like, okay, your name's Blackjack. All right, I got it. Like he was just trying to get the hell up out of there. I was
Yeah, he
like,
was so like, he's like, I'm obviously gonna help you, but like I really like don't have time. Like, but I'm gonna help you.
mhm.
It's all I can do. Okay, my bad. Okay, good. You're good. Okay, cool.
Like I'm leaving now. Okay, so we have to go because Percy's next scene is a scene I'm
Persevere.
sure has been
It's the Persebeth theme.
edited,
It's the
edited
Persebeth.
out
It's the
like
most
crazy.
Persebeth of Persebeths.
Let me tell you something. One day when we get to like the end of season 3, there's gonna be like compilation videos,
Yes.
and it's gonna be like Percy Jackson calling Annabeth Chase wise girl for 5 minutes. That is
I
gonna
just
be a
want you
thing.
to know, I did actually squeal a little bit
I
when he
squealed
called her
so
wise girl.
much. I was like, the choice to call her wise girl instead of just saying Annabeth,
He was like, wise girl. And the rest,
and you went out.
because my octave went too high.
So
I saw the mic and I said, that is actually a complete replication of my response.
because when she lays back down to hide, and okay, this is why people do not take Walker seriously because he says he can't tell that he had a different voice when he plays Percy to talk to Annabeth, but he definitely does
He
because the way
1000% does.
the way he says "wise girl" all soft, I was like, oh my god.
It was it was so endearing. I was like, oh Jesus.
I
I'm
was like, let me
Walker.
tell you something.
I'm like,
The
Walker, don't
person
you watch the playback?
I'm just like the Perseus shippers right now are going crazy. I've already seen like 8 different
It's
edits
like
of
the
it.
moment that he said wise girl in the way that he said wise girl, I was like, somebody is literally making a compilation where he says wise girl like 20 times.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I can't really blame them because I was like, oh my God, he called her wise girl.
And he
And
said it
then,
and he said it differently because the first time he ever says wise girl is kind of sarcastic.
yes,
But
this
that
one
time,
was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you.
yeah.
And that's
So
exactly what it gave. And I said,
mhm.
again, Walker, you, sir, are great. However, I actually don't think that you like it kills me. It blows my mind that he does not realize how much he's feeding the Percabeth just by the way that he talks to her. It's like you don't realize it, but you're like talking to the other ones and then talking to Annabeth is a completely different like
Somebody
octave.
pointed out that Leah does it too, where when she's talking to Percy in particular, her voice changes, and
She's a
neither one
little
of them can
softer.
tell.
She's like a tad, she's a
Yeah,
little
and
soft when she talks.
somebody put on thread. That's because the spirit of Annabeth Chase and Percy Jackson goes into them every time they start.
My theory is like, because I was like, remember, y'all, like they told us they had to get the writers to tone it down, and like this is a
Mm-hmm.
part of the compromise because they're both that good of an actor that like
Mm-hmm.
that's the compromise. Like they're still gonna troll us because they know that's what we're watching for. And I like if they
Mm-hmm.
do that again, kudos. But when that boy told that girl, well, Clarice's priority was the police, you're my priority. I was like, I know the
Oh,
Percivets have just melted. They have just melted and ascended because this boy is so casual with it. And then, but also when Annabeth's first response was like, no, like y'all should, the police should be your first priority. I was like, Clarice was right.
Percy's
Because,
face is Percy's face is like, I don't want to hear all that.
yeah, Percy was like, I done heard this already, sis. I heard it already. I heard it already. I heard it
But you
already.
know what? This is what I love about Percy and why I hate the whole like conversation people are having about Percy being Anakin Skywalker because the next scene after they have a short conversation is when Luke comes in and he puts
Yes.
the baseball cap on and she kind of forces Luke to like talk so Percy would know to go get the fleece because once he realized that Annabeth was okay, his brain went back to what he was supposed
Yeah.
to be doing. It was
It's
back to the
like
quest.
his fatal flaw was basically like calm down.
Yeah,
Like, because
like
he realized not only was she okay, but she's okay enough to start scheming.
yeah. So
And
I can leave and go get the police because I know she's good. I untied her. She can walk. She can move. she's Annabeth, she can get out of whatever she needs to get out of. I can
Yeah.
now go safely, which is why I don't agree with the whole like conversation surrounding the burn it down thing, because Percy's not saying burn it down because he's happy about it. He's saying burn it down because he's upset about it. He's worried that he will do something to negatively affect the world because
Yes.
his first instinct is to help those who he cares about, which isn't a bad thing or
It's
anything.
not. It's just
And
unfortunate for him. He has bigger consequences when he's
yes,
selfish
and
versus
it's not something that, and what my problem with the whole Anakin thing is that Anakin makes choices because he wants to make choices.
I just want to say, as a huge Star Wars fan, the moment that I even heard about this BS comparison, shout out to you, that BS comparison comparing Percy to
I didn't
Anakin,
even realize that.
this has to be made by people who don't watch Star Wars,
You
who
can't
only
watch.
know the bare minimum about Star Wars and about who Anakin is. Because there's just no way that you can look at both of those characters and think that they're anything alike. There's nothing about them alike. At no point does Percy ever consider going to the dark side. There's never, ever a thought in his mind. Percy's loyalty to his loved ones and the people he cares about is a weakness. Anakin believes that he's better than the system and tries to go above the system, and in his grief decides that the system has failed him, and that's what turns him. Like, don't make me go into a whole Star Wars rant here, but like, no, if I hear anybody say that, I'm just gonna be like, absolutely not.
And my
No.
point in bringing that up is because so much of Percy's insecurity is that, like, because he was on Cersei's Island, he made the burn it down comment. Then the next episode, he gives the fleece to Luke, and he starts like kind of catastrophizing with himself because he just realized that he did exactly what Cersei told him he would do, which is you would make a decision that would, negatively affect the world,
doom everybody.
And what makes that so different than Anakin is Anakin does it because he wants to ruin everything. That's his whole
point. He feels like he lost because he thinks he lost Padme. And then he just loses it.
And like, I guess the argument
no extreme loyalty or anything.
I guess the argument there is that if something were to happen to Annabeth, Percy would lose it, but Percy would not lose it in the sense that he would then go and try and murder the human race. That is never going to be a thing for him.
Right, because keep in mind, like, Anakin also abandoned his friends. Percy would never abandon his friends.
He had no loyalty.
Yeah, he had no loyalty. Like, he dropped Ahsoka like a bad habit. Like,
he didn't even care about his children that much.
He went toe-to-toe against his own master and got his leg sliced off for it because he did not care about them no more.
No.
Percy would never do that.
No.
Never do that. That's his fatal flaw is literally the opposite. His fatal flaw is literally that he cares about them too much.
Honestly, comparing anyone to Darth Vader is insane to me, but whatever.
I can think of some people, but that's not Percy. Is not it.
But not in Percy Jackson. Luke maybe, but even he has a little bit of.
Not even Luke.
Even he comes to Jesus at some points. But anyway, so now we're back with the Percy leaves because Luke comes in. He goes to go get the fleece,
and Allison has the vision. I don't know the telepathic.
I'm dead. Wait. So Cronus tells her, like, basically go kill this daughter of Athena. Meanwhile, Luke and Annabeth are having a conversation. Annabeth tells him about her vision, and he starts kind of second guessing, which leads Cronus to, tell Allison, like,
because she said, go ask him. If you don't think that then go ask him. And that's exactly when Cronus was like, all right, she been yapping too much. Go handle that. Allison goes downstairs and grabs the crew where Clarice has been sitting waiting for her chance to get out.
Her picking up that chip and eating it killed me.
I said, girl, ew. I said, oh, that's nasty.
I love her so bad because she was just like
her. I love Clarice and her everything in this season. But when they left and Sis picked up that spear and that axe and was like, look, because her main mission is to fleece. But when they hear them talking about going to get Annabeth and it's all of them, she was like, nah, I'm not. Absolutely not. Let's go. And then Annabeth, gets up and hides.
Mm-hmm.
And like you hear Allison is giving out orders or whatever and was like, she's crafty. And then Clarice walks. I mean, she just walks in the room knowing she already knew how many people there was. Immediately X's out the side, X's out the giant. Just boop, gone. And then
what did she say? She's like, 5 against 1, those are my kind of odds.
Yes. But also, can we talk about it? Because Allison was sitting there with her little
bow.
Really standing there like, do it. like do it.
She could. Sorry. How do you talk that much shit and continuously get beaten by little kids?
If I walk into a room and if I'm with my people, my crew, and a child walks in with a spear and an axe and says, 5 against 1, my kind of odds, and then proceeds to body your people, like she's not taking them on one at a time. At one point, she's hitting 2 people at a time. She done hit you and slapped the other one.
What? Like it was nothing.
Y'all are all older than Clarice. She is waxing y'all like weren't y'all down here just fighting like fake demigods in t-shirts?
Like they was really about to whoop some demigod butt, and they're getting beat by one.
By one. And not only that, but then even old dude who sees Annabeth get his behind whooped too. I said,
yes. Easily.
I said, so all of y'all, because why is Annabeth flipping you? She's 5'2". Why is she flipping you? I looked up Leah's height after the episode. She is 5'2". Why is this 5'2"? At this time, she's 13 or 14 years old. Why is she flipping your grown behind over like this?
She's in 7th grade.
Saying it like that is even worse. Because I think Clarice is like, isn't Clarice the same age or like 1 year older?
She's like a year or so older.
Yeah. Like they're like at best a freshman in high school. It's
that would have me going home.
I thought all y'all need to quit. At this point, every single one of y'all are actually no longer needed. No. It's clear that y'all are only here because I know why your godly parent is not recognizing you.
Not recognizing
all week. I was like, maybe Allison has so much animosity because Apollo knew she was weak from the jump. Because how did you get beat? You have a long distance weapon. Why did you get close enough for her to have one-on-one combat with you?
Ares' daughter.
The one who just walked in and said 5 against 1. I like these odds. That is the equivalent of the crazy girl that likes to if somebody's getting jumped and she just randomly jump in the fight and start beating down bodies.
Yes.
That was what Clarice did. And then my favorite part of the whole episode was when her and Annabeth start having a conversation. And it's basically like a strategic thing, but Clarice immediately folds to Annabeth's decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like, okay, where's the fleece? Well, I sent Percy to get it. And she's like, you sent Percy to get the fleece? And she's like,
oh, and then the alarm goes off. And she goes,
it doesn't mean he has it. Clarice.
Like, come on.
So then they get up to the top.
We skipped my favorite scene.
What's your favorite scene?
Which is when Percy goes to get the fleece.
I knew that. That's what I was about to say. I was like, but now we have to go back to Percy because Percy, like I said, I like the moments of humor that we get from Percy because they're actually better because they're so far apart.
Yeah, and there's so much more, and they're so natural. Like it doesn't feel like he's just saying anything. Right. And it just feels like he's just rolling off his tongue. Like he's just like, I'm gonna be sassy, I'm gonna be sarcastic, whatever. Yes. And he has a good. He's luring him in. He's like, I know the great prophecy. I know the entire thing.
He starts saying it. He's like, you can make your decision after you hear it. And he's like, okay. And like as he's like getting closer, Cronus is still saying it. And he goes, yep, I made up my mind. Sure.
He's like, oh, I decide. And then just takes the fleece.
I said,
I love this. But here's my thing about the prophecy. I wish somebody would just listen to it.
Listen, I was like, I know that we're purposely not saying the entire prophecy for the sake of the series because, like, it adds more angst to it or whatever. with the way that we keep getting stopped at the same part over and over and over.
Like you'll well, what was it? Like you'll the demigod will reach 16 against all odds. He's like, I decide. He's like, no.
Yeah, and then Luke comes in.
Luke's. Oh, I do want to say this real quick though. I genuinely wonder what Cronus's and the gods' view of the prophecy is. Like that's something I actually hope that they kind of like talk to Rick about and add in, because like from Percy's perspective, from Annabeth, Kyron, Grover, everyone has a one-track mind about it, but they only have a one-track mind as far as the demigod part goes. Yeah, they kind of ignore everything else.
It's because they thought they nipped it in the bud because they had promised to stop making babies.
But even then, when Percy comes to fruition, and obviously it's not a secret now, Thalia comes into fruition. But the prophecy isn't just that this demigod is going to do something. The prophecy is long.
And you know what I also realized? I'm like, y'all are only focusing on the demigod part. It's like y'all knew the demigod was going to betray y'all.
Yeah. Y'all just like, you know what?
The other part of the prophecy is that he could save everyone. But y'all are like, nah, this demigod's probably going to turn on us.
He's going to turn on us.
We turned on our daddy, so it only makes sense that they would turn on us. I was like, this is trauma.
Some have tried.
Generational trauma.
Yeah, over and over and over again. So I'm just like, I hope they add in later seasons, like to kind of get, because we've already seen Zeus and Poseidon. We've gotten Hermes, we've gotten their perspectives without Percy. So I'm just like, can we get some perspective on how they view the prophecy? Like, you don't have to like tell us what happened.
I would even like to see an argument among the gods or something, like some type of conversation on Olympus where like they're, because we obviously know that they're watching everything, because even the demigods were like, can we like not say his name that loud anymore, like at all? Like, can we
stop letting people use her phone service?
Yeah, they're having this like, so they're watching, they know what's happening. And since we're seeing everybody else's perspective, like I would actually love just a glimpse of some type of situation up there, just so we see like the arguments or something that's happening. Like that would be nice.
Because I would love to know what Rick's thought process, especially for Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, for the no spoilers, but those three who made the decision not to have any more children. Like what their thought process is, not just on the demigod part of the prophecy. Because the prophecy has like 7 lines.
But like, the revelation that all 3 of them broke the promise.
I'm just like, you guys knew you guys weren't going to keep it in your pants. Like, what was the point?
All y'all are whores.
But what I love, I think about that is that there is something above Cronus. There's something above the gods, like the Titans. None of them are above certain things. Like you go up, you're
not above the fates.
You promise over on the river Styx, you will have retribution. There will be something that like, you.
Y'all out here just.
But you know what? The whole series is telling us that they're dumb. So I mean,
yes.
Anyway, Luke comes in.
Also, this is the first episode Luke is not in white.
Is he not in white?
He's wearing a tan shirt, a tan jacket over it this time.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Luke, are we going a little Burberry today? Like, what's happening?
I keep waiting. I think this is going to be a thing. I stand by that next season, they're going to change his color scheme. Like, if he's completely turned off morality, I feel like they'll put him in dark colors.
I'm actually hoping that they do that. I'm hoping that the white on white meant something, because now it's like, it's still a light color, but there's a lot of questioning now because of how he feels that Annabeth lied to him, and like this whole fight scene inside the room. Excuse me. I actually love it.
I love it.
What I love the most about it, I said, oh, we dropped the cap.
That was my first thought process. I said, Percy, you left the cap. He's going to sneak on the camp.
What is so difficult about you keeping this cap where it's supposed to be? Like,
okay. The best question I have for that is, though, I'm just like, why weren't you wearing the cap when you walked in?
So many questions and concerns could have been taken off if he just put on the freaking cap.
Like, he kept that cap off way too often. I said, what was the point of picking it up?
But remember, he asked Annabeth, he's like, it's itchy. Does it itch to you? And I was like, I can't say what that is because like I need it revealed at the right time. So I can't say what it is, but I did like that little nod. But I was like, maybe that's why he won't wear it. But when Luke grabbed his sword and they started fighting, and obviously Luke is a better swordsman than Percy. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like that they kept that same energy
Yeah.
because it wouldn't have made sense for him to all of a sudden be able to outsmart Luke in a sword fight. It's already
Mm-hmm.
known that when it comes to Luke versus Percy,
Mm-hmm.
at this time, Percy cannot beat Luke.
Right.
And so when he knocks everything over and gets it to a point where he can get away, what does Percy
Mm-hmm.
do? Sprints. I
He's
said, and that,
sprinting.
ladies and gentlemen,
Percy's like, I have enough sense to know I'm not winning this.
he said, I'm a runner, I'm a track star, except he didn't take the stairs.
What shook me was when that blade went through that elevator. I was like, no, I know
Okay,
he had the police.
I'm a horrible person, but I was like, this is such a pointless stab because he
It
has
was
the police.
that's what I thought. I was like, that was just Luke being an ass.
Right.
Who
I said,
first
obviously, Luke is mad. He got outsmarted and just said, yeet. But also,
I was doing so well not cursing.
I
Um,
was like,
but like it was so pointless, but I feel like that was a good way to show just how
close.
angry Luke is and
Yeah.
how much he can really flip around how he feels because like we know to some degree he has respect for Percy. He even says so early in the episode that he you know
Yep.
he has to give it to him that he's like a very loyal person to have given him the fleece because that was a stupid idea. But
Yeah.
uh but it just shows like how easy it is for him to flip on people. Like, you know, he would love for Percy to be on his side, but he in the back of his mind knows that's never gonna happen. Like it
Oh,
does
yeah.
not matter. Percy's not gonna go on his side. And so that stab was so unnecessary, which is why I was just like, you just did that to be a jerk.
Yes. Because also remember when him and Annabeth are talking, he was like, Percy gave it to me because he knew that it needed to be done to go against the gods. And Annabeth's like, he did nothing for the
Mhm.
gods. He did all that because of me.
Yeah,
Like,
like
please
please be
be
for
for
real. And
real.
you know he did not do that for that.
Right. And that's when he just concedes, like, well, I have to
His,
give it to him. He
his
is, you know, I'm like,
him thinking that he can manipulate Annabeth, and I mean, granted, we know from Titan's Curse that it is possible, but but that's why so many people dislike Luke is because that everybody he's mean to, you know, you're just kind of like okay, whatever. But then
he's
his
so Dr.
anger,
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
right? But his anger towards Annabeth specifically is so unnecessary that it's
Yes.
like it's hard for us to believe you have humanity because even the one person who's alive that you genuinely care about, probably even above your siblings, you still treat her like shit.
And remember, he looked so hurt when he was like, she lied. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, sir, you went into that room lying. She was actually telling her truth. Like she was dead ass. She believed everything she said.
Like, come on, let's keep it a buck. If Percy had refused to give you that fleece, you would not have done anything to help Annabeth.
Nope. Nothing. She'd have been right. He would have just left her.
You would have
I'm just
thought, like, in your head, well, this is all for the greater good because it
yes,
is your greater good.
because woo, him and this greater good foolishness.
Oh my God,
But
he's so.
when he gets stabbed and he gets upstairs, Annabeth is like, hell, I mean, in true fact, I too would have been like, hello, why
Like,
are you bleeding? Why are
are
you
you
walking so
stabbed?
comfortably bleeding? He's like, oh yeah, no, the fleece healed it. This point is that point where, because I was wondering how they were going to do this. Because, you know, we've been mentioning the prophecy. We know that Clarice has been
Mhm,
worried about the prophecy this whole time. And that one line has been plaguing her this whole time.
mhm,
And obviously, before Percy had used it against her.
mhm,
But now with Blackjack, it's like he translates the prophecy in
mhm.
a way that makes sense.
That makes
And
sense. Yeah.
also, like, it's a completely another reason why one, Percy is nothing like Anakin, and then
Mhm.
two, the difference between Percy and Luke is also here as well because he could have very well just gotten on Blackjack and gone on about his business and done
Yep.
what he needed to do, but like he let Clarice do it, and
Mhm,
also recognizing like the greater good is at stake here. Like
mhm.
we need to do this. Like you need to
And
do
it's
this. You be the one to do
and it's
this.
kind of like I said. I don't think it was last week. I think it was for episode 6. I mean, it's 5, where I was talking about how like a lot of Percy's decisions that he's fearful of right now are just impulsive decisions and like think quick decisions. They're not decisions that he's been sitting and thinking
Mhm.
about, because if he sat and thought about them and really thought about what, you know, the greater good is, what he should do, then that's totally different than making a spur of the moment decision because you're in
Yeah.
a predicament that you can't get out of. And
Yeah.
that is where he differs from Luke, because Luke, you know, he's looking at Annabeth, you know, on the ground and saying like she's dying. And his first instinct isn't even to ask for the fleece. He doesn't even say anything. He just says she's dying. That's it. Like, and then like there's also the question of whether or not he was lying even about the whole portal thing, where he was saying only one person can get through the portal. Even though season 1 he does tell Percy to go through the portal. So whatever.
Yes.
But
I do think that was like, I was like, there's a continuity hole here that I hope they're gonna fix later, because
yeah,
that was,
either
yeah.
he was lying about the portal being able to be to go through 2 people, or that was continue, like you said, continuity problem. With Luke, I just feel like, you know, he could have very well been lying. Like he could have
Luke
been
is
lying.
extremely manipulative.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
because if
hard
you
to
think about
know.
it,
It's
he
hard to
wants
know.
the fleece. If he would
Yeah.
have opened a portal, he would have to have fought all of them. Which, I
Yeah.
mean, granted, he probably could have fought all of them because he's, you know, he's the best swordsman.
He's, yeah.
He's, that's canon. He's the best at doing that. But then they'd also be able to go to their boat, and then he wouldn't be able to get the boat. So anyway,
Luke
that's
is
where,
methodical.
yeah, like he knows how to really manipulate his way into getting through stuff. So I say all that to say is that when Percy is like, you know, you are going to fly home and you are going to do it without friends because we can't go with you. We can't all get on blackjack. You know, you have
Right.
to go for yourself. I thought it was really sweet that they had her get on blackjack, and instead of saying thank you, Jackson, she says thanks, Percy. I think that was a cute little moment between them, because we know from future seasons, I mean future books, that
They
they
have
don't.
they gain a mutual respect for each
Yeah.
other at some point, but also I like the fact that Percy apologized to her as well
Mm-hmm,
for what he said to her. Like there
mm-hmm,
is an acknowledge, like this is where I say it's another different factor to me, where I'm like, there is the humanity side of Percy
mm-hmm.
allows him to be able to build where Luke will never.
Yeah,
Like that's another reason why they want Percy on the team, because
because
Percy
I
has
feel like,
elements
yeah,
they don't.
I feel like also people need to really pay attention to a lot of the flashbacks we get of Luke.
Yes.
Luke didn't all of a sudden become angry because of Cronus. Now, did Cronus definitely manipulate him and make that anger worse? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
he's already a pretty angry person. He does not want
Yeah.
to go to Camp Half Blood. That is already one thing.
I feel like everybody forgets in the flashback he was like, absolutely not. We don't
Yeah,
need to
like
go
he
there.
refuses. Like he's like, we're fine. We've been fine. And
Including the flashback in this one where he's like, what are y'all talking about? Where is she?
where is
Like, and
she?
everybody
Yeah.
else is like, oh, he's like looking like, what the, what do you mean?
Mhm.
Like,
And in
mm,
retrospect, the only reason he ends up staying at camp is because, excuse me, Thalia died to protect Annabeth. So
mm-hmm.
naturally, he would stay, because why would he leave when her last stand was to make sure Annabeth got to camp?
Yeah.
Because maybe her and Luke would have been fine by themselves, but they would not be if Annabeth was there. Annabeth would not be fine. She's too young. So he's already had anger prior to
Yep.
Thalia dying, and then worse when Thalia died, which was one of the biggest things about his life. The one person he felt like was really his family died, and the only other person he has is now in his face telling him, actually, I don't choose to be on your side, and I'm choosing Grover, who he blames for what happened to Thalia, and Percy, who he wants to, in retrospect, either bring to his side or murder. So
Yeah.
like his anger has always been there. That's not just a Cronus thing. Now, again, Cronus is a horrible person. He's manipulating everything, but Luke is
Kronos,
angry by himself.
Kronos would have never been able to manipulate Luke if there wasn't already wrath and anger already set
Mm-hmm.
in. Like the vulnerabilities there are because it was already there to manipulate. So
Yep.
like the super Luke apologist, I'd be like, listen,
And keep in
everybody
mind,
has a choice. Percy has had this choice this entire season to just join them, and he has actively, repeatedly
this is
been
the
against
second
this.
year he has been
Yeah,
able to say yay or nay, and he has said nay every time.
I mean,
And also, keep in mind,
right in front of him.
the great prophecy has been there before Luke was born, before Percy was born, before Thalia was born. Cronus knows that. He knows who that is about.
Yep. And has
That,
known for a while. He
like,
just
that was
was biding
literally
his
the
time.
point of them promising on the River Styx that they would not have any more children, was because of the great prophecy.
Yep.
Like, come on now. Like, he's
And
not.
also, he specifically waited for a specific time. He had to let them kids grow up first. He could have been blown this out the water, but he didn't. He needed
He
everything to
didn't.
play out. There's manipulation in this, but also, like, as you've seen with Allison, actively chosen to do this.
Yes.
So, yes.
Okay. Now Sally pulls up. One thing I like that they added, which is like such a small thing that happens, but when Sally and Tyson and Grover pull up, Annabeth and Percy are confused, but Annabeth gets in the car and Percy kind of hides his wound.
Yes, he hides the wound.
Yeah, so she can't see. He's so sweet.
I said, first of all, there's humanity. Again, there's humanity in this. But also, I kind of wanted Sally to see it and flip out, though. I'm not going to hold you.
But you know what? She was already losing her damn mind.
She was like driving, but trying to keep up. But also, you saw like at the end where like Percy's kind of like looking off the distance. Sally is literally like, what is going on?
What's wrong with my baby?
Yeah, I hope we get a moment of some type of moment there for the next episode. Now, before we end this, final episode predictions. Final episode.
Oh, wait, I did want to add one more thing because we did skip something that I think is important. In the car, Annabeth and Grover are in the back seat with Tyson, and they're freaking out about the possibility of Thalia coming back. And Percy's in the front seat, obviously, because he had that dream or nightmare of Thalia hitting him with a lightning bolt. And again, like you said, you know, Sally's looking at him like, oh, like, what's going on? And I really, really like that because, again, we know that they don't go home in the books with Sally. So that was an interesting way to add that in. But also, we know that Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, because they're a trio, they're so tight. And then, like, future-wise, Percy does have a slight jealous feeling about that, about Thalia and about Luke, that that has nothing to do with Perciveth, but, like, you know, that's because he's formed this friendship with them, but now they're like talking about this girl who he's dreaming is going to murder him.
Yeah. Honestly, I was like, this could be one of two things. He's worried about the whole prophecy thing, or he's also having this moment of like, well, if Thalia comes back, like, where do I fit in?
And I feel like it's a mixture
of
both.
That's also very Percy.
Yeah, that's very Percy because he's still a kid. We have to realize he's still 13. He's a 7th grader.
And them his only friends.
Those are his only friends. And it's like, where does he place himself? Because we know what happens in Titan's Curse when Thalia does come back, and how everything kind of, the narrative around him being the chosen one kind of changes, and that really affects him next season, even though he doesn't really want to be the chosen one. But
we talked about this in the first episode where we're trying to explain where Percy, like, when he gets the realization of who he is, and then something comes and kind of wrecks that. He doesn't handle that very well. So this could also be like him starting to have that moment all over again. Yeah. Because every time he thinks he's getting used to a new normal, the normal changes.
The normal changes. And it's never, and it's kind of like, I know people are going to hate me for quoting this man, but it's not like what Luke says is like, you can't really focus on prophecies and what they literally say, because 9 times out of 10, like, you're getting it wrong anyway. And we did skip a scene because me mentioning Luke reminded me, there is one scene after the car ride, which is Luke and Cronus, because he confronts Cronus.
I forgot, where he questions Cronus.
Girl, I have my TV up, and as we skip, as we go to the next thing, I'm like moving around so I know what's next.
I love this for us though, because while it was 34 minutes, we've been talking for like an hour already.
We've been talking for an hour. That's because we spent 20 talking about Allison.
That is so true. We gave her more screen time than she deserved as well.
Where's the problem?
Where's the problem? But okay. How did you feel that now we could hear Kronos talking to Luke when we hadn't heard anything from him?
I was glad to hear more of Kronos' voice, first of all, because I love the voice of the actor who's playing him. It's so horrifying. I think he does so
creepy. It haunts my nightmares. Yeah.
It's horrifying. Which is so funny because the man who plays him is so not horrifying.
I know. I looked him up one day and I was like, he just looks like he wants to give me cookies.
Like he looks so nice, but
He's so nice
the
looking.
voice he's giving Cronus is horrifying. I'm glad we got it because even when they showed us Allison being talked to, we did not hear what Cronus said. We just kind of knew that it was probably like, go kill I almost said Athena.
She was
Annabeth.
also far more receptive, so maybe
Yeah,
that's why it didn't look so painful. Because
could be.
Luke looked like that. He looked like
Yeah.
Kronos was trying to split his brain in half.
Yeah,
Like,
which I mean, he probably was because I imagine that one part of keeping him in line is like, no, I can't say that.
yeah, but say nah. I was about to be like, yeah, that's
like, not only did I skip Titan's Curse, I skipped Labyrinth.
yeah.
Olympians.
Well, remember, I will say, I feel like this is like a book one or early book two thing where he talked about how like when he messed up the first time with Kronos, he received nightmares for like weeks on end or something like that. So it's like
Oh.
there is that type of thing going on, but like the fear in Luke's eyes when it was happening, I was like,
Yep.
yeah.
Because I think where a lot of people who do kind of apologize for Luke come in is that they're apologizing because he was so abused by Kronos, and then he had such a hard life. But at the end of the day, like having a hard life doesn't justify doing what he does. Like in the real world, plenty of murderers and rapists and all types of people have horrible childhoods. They still deserve to be in prison. Like that does not change that fact. It does not make
consequences still need to happen.
Yes, because so many times abused children become abusers later in life. And he's at this point where now he's like, I made a joke, humanity switched off, which is like an anime thing that I said, but his humanity really is switched off. At this point, he's just kind of like, no, okay, I don't have Annabeth on my side. Thalia's gone, and she nothing I can do.
Annabeth lied to me. He thinks Annabeth lied to him.
And I think that's so interesting because like,
when has Annabeth ever?
What would be the point in her lying to you?
Right. That was my thing. I was like, I get that Kronos is literally like squeezing your brain right now, but like your brain still works. Like, why would
Annabeth? She definitely saw you stab the tree.
Yes. Yes.
So why would she?
Like she was right there, bro. She has seen you do all of these things, and she's still. Not to mention, she was the one that told you, if you don't believe me, go ask him why he ain't tell you.
Yeah. And he did go ask, and that was a mistake.
And he did go ask. Not the smartest.
Which I don't really understand, like, how that's going to work because, again, like we said, the understanding was that Thalia was always Cronus's backup. That if he can't get the fleece, well, then at the very least he could get Thalia, and that would be the person of the prophecy. But I mean, we're on unknown territory right now.
My theory is it still is Kronos's backup plan. He just didn't feel the need to divulge it to Luke because he's not he's not 100% sure of Luke's loyalties. Hence why he had sent Allison to kill Annabeth, and he's now sending Luke to wipe out the camp and kill Percy. He's still gonna get it because by the time they get there, it's gonna be fleece. It's gonna be on the tree. So I don't know. I look forward to this season finale.
I'm not sure if I have any predictions about...
I don't know. I don't think I have any predictions either. I do hope that... Okay, how do I say this? I hope that Percy and his brother have a brother moment. Okay. Think about what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah. So I hope that happens.
I don't know why, but maybe it's because they don't do it that much in the books, but I'm actually glad that they're giving us more Luke Percy fights because they don't fight that much in the books, like physically fight, which isn't too shocking because at some point, like, Luke just kind of ignores Percy's jabs, so he doesn't take the bait. But at the same time, sometimes I was just like, oh, I just want someone to punch Luke in the face. Just one good time. Yes. So I don't mind them doing a big fight at the end of season 2. I think it adds a little bit to season 2, especially because I think one of the scenes is like Percy like doing a speech to the other camp goers.
Rallying everybody.
Yeah, and so that'll be really interesting to kind of see him do that and then go into Titan's Curse later on, either this year or I guess next year, and see how that goes.
You know what I just forgot?
Mhm.
Because this is something big that happens at the end of book 2, but like that door is that like all of that is gone. Chiron.
Yeah, I still have no idea how that's working.
I was like,
Remember, I said it in the first episode that I was like, how is that going to work? Because the whole reason that they kicked Chiron out is because they thought he poisoned the tree.
yes,
And if we already know it was Luke,
yes.
and they only sent him away because he's the son of Cronus, which makes no sense. You're all sons of
None at
Cronus,
all. They're all
but
sons of Kronos, but whatever. But
whatever,
then
I guess.
also remember the way that they cleared his name was through an iris message, and
Hmm.
the iris messages are now down. I said, wait,
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe
like what are they gonna
Percy.
do to
Like
Tantalus?
we also do exactly, but we also have a scene where Poseidon comes.
Mm.
Um, I just
I love that we're both like,
propaganda I will not fall for.
I refuse to even believe the propaganda that Poseidon is this good loving father. He's not. He let his son live on the streets and then let his other baby mama care for him more.
And he continues to do it because Cyclopses just keep popping up. So whatever. Oh, and he lets them get abused.
Like I said, and the baby mama comes and does more for him than he does.
Like Polyphemus was on that island lonely and angry
With a
because
messed up eye.
oh, don't get me started. But there
Yeah.
is a scene where Poseidon comes and sees Percy. So maybe he asks the gods to bring Chiron back.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, because I mean,
honestly,
like I said, a lot of times when Percy does something, they do tend to gift him something of some kind.
yes.
So maybe they'll
And this
ask
was
him to come
technically a
back.
quest granted. This quest was granted by Poseidon. So that is
So like,
possible. Because I'm
or
like, we still have the issue of Tantalus.
Maybe Clarice will ask for him back.
I don't know. We still have the issue of Tantalus. Technically, Percy and Annabeth are not allowed to come back to camp.
Yeah.
Chiron is still gone. And so I was like, there are so many open windows. I'm just sitting here like, we
And
also
I'm
don't have
still
Beckendorf. And Beckendorf is usually heavily involved in camp fights. So this will also be interesting to me.
maybe they'll bring him. I imagine they'll bring him more later because he's more important later than he really is in second book. Because I think the most he talked in the second book is talk to Tyson a couple of times.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
uh what I was gonna say was that I imagine the statute of limitations of Annabeth and Percy not being there had closed since there's giants outside of the
Like I
campground.
said, I don't know what they're gonna do. Because I'm my main question after this episode was like, so what y'all gonna do to Tantalus for Percy to be able to give this speech?
Right, because he's like still there,
Yeah, and he does not
presumably.
care. And I
But,
can't wait for Mr. D to say some real offhand stuff.
yes, because I love him to death, and I love the choice of making that actor play him. Like it was beautiful.
Yes. And
But
I
I
love
don't
how much the
think,
actor loves playing him.
yeah, because he's enjoying it.
Yes.
But I don't think I have any real like. I think the biggest thing, I'm not gonna lie, out of everything that's gonna happen next episode, I am not even remotely as interested of anything than to see how they bring Thalia back.
I'm very intrigued.
Like,
I
because she's gonna be in the like if she comes in the middle of the battle, then she would be coming into watching her brother fight her sister.
yeah. So I cannot stress this enough. I actually really want that to happen. And not only that, but I want Thalia and Luke to actually fight.
Honestly,
I
yes.
want Thalia to come back and she just be ready to go. And
Mm-hmm.
they are like they're fighting, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Because at this point, it's been years since she became the tree. So
yes,
like she's coming up, and Luke is older. Annabeth isn't a little baby anymore.
right.
So
Like
I
it's
that's the
gonna
one
be
thing I'm
so
interested in.
much. I don't know what they're gonna do, but if they do that, I'm gonna be screaming watching that episode. Just so
Like
we're clear.
I'm so excited. Like I want Wednesday to hurry up.
I'm so excited and so mad that I have to go to work next Wednesday. It's like, I'm gonna have to wait all day. I'm literally gonna have to like mute my social media
Oh, listen,
next
I deleted all social
Wednesday.
media off my phone recently, so I've been okay. Not because of Percy Jackson, but
Just in,
I've been
yeah,
okay not seeing this spoilers.
yeah. But okay, if
Well,
you've made it this far in the video, give us a lightning emoji in
yeah.
honor of Thalia. Let us know your predictions for the season finale. If you've also loved us talking, and I know you've been back for a second or third time, I see the views. Y'all are liking these discussions. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank y'all so much for watching.
And we'll see you guys in the next time. Next
See y'all
one.
next time. Next week.
Yeah,
Bye.
next week for episode 8. Bye.